Did you get it?
It says starting. Let's see. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome into the Locked On Pacers podcast. My name is Adam Friedman. As always, I'm a staff writer at IndyCornerRoast.com. And joining me on the other line, because it is a weekly show, once again, I know it's a Tuesday, but it's still a weekly show, Mr. Tony East. Tony, Pacers 2-1 in the week, but pretty bad loss this week. Any top thoughts you got?
Adam, there were 4 games. We did not even clarify our timing of recording.
Oh yeah. Well, there's that first mistake. Yeah. So we're recording this Sunday afternoon about 4 o'clock. Obviously, something really big happened in the Hornets game. We will re-record this podcast. So this will not actually, you won't hear this podcast. So I don't know why I'm saying that. If you're hearing this podcast and nothing major happened in the Hornets game, we just scheduling wise, we kind of figured this is the best time to do it. We're still gonna have a normal show, so we'll do kind of week look back. Obviously, we're gonna do bring back our weekly, New Year's segment of trade talk for 10 minutes, and then we'll preview the upcoming games on Wednesday and Saturday. But that's how this one's going to go. So if it feels like we don't have all the information, it's because we just did do it. We did it before the Hornets game tonight.
So the only games we have to talk about are the shellacking of the Suns, which is boring because you should shellac the Suns. The other way shellacking by the Sixers, who destroyed the Pacers, and then they dispatched the Mavs pretty easily. They played a pretty good defensive game in that game. So those are the games that we are talking about today.
Yes, and I think that's kind of the best place to start. And maybe we should start positive, and maybe we should talk about what went right in the first 2 games. Does that seem like a good start for you before we get kind of into the negative look out for this team?
Yeah, the Suns are just terrible.
Well, the Suns and the Mavs aren't much better, to be honest.
Mavs are okay. The Mavs are hanging around 500 all year. They just Luka stunk and got ejected, and then it was easy after that.
That's a fair way to put it. No, I mean the teams they beat, they should beat, and I got to pull up the Suns. I'm trying to remember the box score now on the top of my head, but that was the game where Bojan had a really good game, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Suns with the Bojan and
that's right. 20 points on 12 shots. That's right.
Where Turner once again kind of had a good. Well, he did really well against the Suns last time, but it was sort of that game was sort of an expected game, but it was that night where I think 5 or 6 NBA games went to a blowout, and it was an expected win, and it was one of those wins where it was like they 8 guys double figure or 7 guys double figures because Carlson or only got to 8, but it was just sort of one of those games that you kind of expect where Oliva didn't have to do too much. He kind of was able to sit back and let everybody else kind of ride hot hands against some pretty easy matchups.
Yeah, the Suns just suck. It was not fun to watch.
No, it wasn't. I'm trying to. I think I gave up watching it by the third quarter.
I made it all the way. I saw the Alizé 3. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that on Twitter. I just don't think I was watching it live, if I remember right.
Yeah, Miles played good in his first fully immersed game back, which was good.
Well, then he played full. Well, I guess he was kind of in foul trouble against the Sixers, so yeah, maybe not.
No, the Suns was his first fully immersed game back.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. That was. I got to get the days right in my head. Yeah. No, you're right. All right. Sorry, I made about 3 mistakes to start this podcast. Now I will get focused in. Sorry, guys.
It was good to see him play well, both ends of the floor too. Sabonis just ate alive every Suns big. They do not Ayton's good for a rookie, but he doesn't have those impact things that centers with more years in the league have. And Sabonis and Turner just ate against him and Rashawn Holmes. And then Booker didn't play very well, so they had no way of scoring. It was a very easy game.
Yeah. Am I safe to say, I mean, this might not agree, but the best player this week probably was Tyreke Evans?
Yeah. No, he was. That's I tweeted this last night because I was so excited for him. But after the Mavs game, I'd say since Christmas, they've played 11. He's probably played good in 8 or 9 of those games. To be fair to everyone, the 2 games that he stunk in, one of those was the Cavs one, I think the other one was the Raptors one. He was really bad in both of those games, really bad. But the other games he's been pretty good in, which they need this from him. Hopefully those knee injections really helped him, or he's just hitting a groove. Either way, this needs to stay.
Yeah, what exactly did he have with his knee? I heard
PRP, the same thing Westbrook's gotten a million times.
Okay, so I guess since he returned day after Christmas, his just stat line is 12.5 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, but on 46-37 shooting, which is
pretty good for him.
Yeah, pretty good for a guy who was basically shooting 37 and 37.
Especially when you add in that those 2 horrible games I talked about, he was 4 for 15
Yeah, and he's
so outside of those games, he's been really solid putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 9-game double figures, and that's also pretty good. I mean, he looks more like the Tyreek that was advertised in the preseason.
He's decisive. Nate talked about. I asked Nate about him because he led the team in scoring after the Mavs game, and I was curious if like something had finally clicked or like the injury stuff had happened or what. And it was just like, yeah, I trust the dude to make good reads. Like I want to put the ball in his hands and put him in the pick and roll a bunch. So Nate still has a lot of faith in him. So maybe we'll see a lot more of him playing well.
Well, and frankly, he probably should have had a good week because none of the 3 teams they played have great benches. One, the Mavs were depleted in general. They've got they're down. JJ Barea, Dennis Smith didn't end up playing.
Okay, well, the flip side though, like Boston has a good bench. He played well against them. Like
yeah, but I'm about the recent run.
This week it was not the easiest or the hardest of opponents. I will give you that.
Yeah, well, the Sixers were hard, but the Sixers bench is not great. The Sixers are about 7 guys really deep. Right, comes playoff time, they're probably going to play to McConnell and Muscala, and maybe not past that probably.
Whoa!
Right?
Breaking news, Adam. The Pacers just signed a player.
Who'd they just sign?
They signed Stephon Hicks from Fort Wayne on a 10-day contract. One of their favorite things, giving those Fort Wayne dudes promotions.
I guess it's not weird, right?
No, not at all.
Right, they give them a 10 days so they can still kind of get the last roster spot.
Yep.
All right, well, technically that will not be breaking news because it was, I guess, on Tuesday, but on the show it broke.
Live reaction.
I guess other positives to take away from the week. I mean, I'm maybe stretching here, but I thought Thad played really well against the Sixers. I mean, that's obvious by his stat line, but he had just one of those where the Sixers are weak, I guess, is at that 4 spot, depending where Simmons is playing defensively. And so Thad was able to take advantage last time they played, and he was able to kind of do it again. I thought he played well, and then nobody else played well, but Thad had a really good night.
He did. Thad is having a great 2 months of play after December was really good for him as well.
I mean, contract Thad, man.
He was just as good last year. I don't believe in contract years.
I feel like he's having a 2-month run of these.
So you know.
No, but I mean, I remember this a little while ago, but his 2-month run right now is better than any 2-month run he's had with the Pacers.
Yeah,
in
probably,
3 seasons.
probably.
That's all I mean, and that's because it's the contract. No, I agree with you. They're maybe not. I mean, I do buy a little bit of the contract year thing just because it means I feel like the guy is pushing himself a little farther, knowing what's on the end of the reward at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't buy it. Like it doesn't. There's not a lot of evidence that suggests it's actually real in terms of data evidence. Oh, Adam has left the video call, folks. So you get to hear me ramble, I guess. I don't know what's happening. What just happened? Yeah, you're not in the call. No, it just shows me in the call. It says waiting for people to join this video call. Okay. Okay. Yeah, just restart that segment. Yeah. Right. That's fine. Okay, I hear you again.
You do? You good?
Why is my screen all red? What the hell?
Because my camera has got
there we go.
the tape over it. All right. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what. God, my computer is being shitty today. Okay. I'll count down from 5, and we'll start with Thad again.
Okay.
And I'll just edit it. I'll figure out where to edit from. I can figure that out. It wasn't too hard. What was my question? I guess was Thad the best?
Yeah, I said I don't believe in contract year stuff.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
Do I start?
No, I'll count down from 5, and you could just do that. Start your contract year segment.
Okay.
All right, 5. It's live recording, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, he has been really good these last 2 months, but I don't believe in the 10-day or the 10-day. Wow, the expiring contract year stuff. There's not a lot of data that backs up that that's like a real thing. I mean, he has been really good, but it's just
yeah. But
I don't think it's.
But real. Isn't there? I mean, I guess there's maybe not any. I guess not any data set on it, like per se. But I feel like from the eye
test, there is data. There is data, and the data suggests that it's not real.
Yeah, but couldn't it be real in certain instances? I guess.
No, not really.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking that if you're in a contract year, you're more likely to push yourself to an effort that maybe you wouldn't in a non-100. You know what I mean? You're willing to play 35 minutes a game because you want to have the. What is he averaging, like 12 and 8 on his stat line right now this year, give or take?
I don't have the stats in front of me.
He's almost up to 13 points per game, so he's at 13 and 6 right now. So maybe yeah, he's actually playing less minutes too this year. But I don't know. Maybe it's. I mean, it probably isn't really a contract year thing. I just feel like he's definitely hitting a stride that he hasn't hit yet in a Pacer uniform, and that's kind of where I feel like he's at right now. I don't know if it means anything for his future play, but it does mean right now that he's pretty dang good.
Yeah, he has been really dang good. And the team needed him to be really dang good because some other guys have been struggling, and he's always been a steady hand. So it's so encouraging that continues even when they're in trouble. And he talked about like sometimes they need a guy to jump up and energize the team after they got thumped by Philly. So he knows what they need.
You don't have to make fun of me for not cussing, man. You can hold back. He's saying dang.
He's good at holding back.
No, say you cannot make fun of me for saying dang instead of damn.
Why?
You used the word dang like 3 times in that thing. And you're like,
I know. Well, I have a really stuffy nose too, so like NG sounds are really easy to say.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Should we move on to, I guess, the negative part of the week? I mean, I feel like, is there anything else positive, I guess, that you really liked? I mean, Alizé's 3, is that positive?
Alizé hit a 3, that was sweet. Aaron Holiday dimed him up, which was cool. Tyreek, we got. Yeah, let's just talk about getting smoked by the Sixers.
Yeah, so the Sixers loss was 120-106. No, 96.
120 yeah, don't give them those 10 points.
Nah, that. So we talked about the game. So Vic had the second most points at 15. Ooh, a miserable 6 of 20.
Yeah, he was not very good to the point where people were questioning if he was like injured or not, which he clarified after the game. He's not.
Yeah, you asked him then, right? That was your question.
I was going to ask him that, but I actually did not ask him that myself.
So do you think he would actually say if he was injured though? That's what I'm concerned
about.
Okay,
well, no, but he, in the same media scrum, he talked about how it's just like him not being aggressive and like getting the shots he wants. But he also said, at first it was injury, like for a little bit because he had to ease back, but now he's there and he just hasn't played the way he wanted, and you can't just like suddenly do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not injury. I would say the difference between this game and the last game they played against Philly was, his name would be Jimmy Butler, and he's, the 10th best player in the league when he's kind of not being a complete ass.
He is stupid good. I don't know what else there is to say about him besides that he's that good. But I think my key takeaway from this game is much different than most people's. They just missed a ton of open shots, and that like bled onto them playing bad defense because they gave up a lot of transition opportunities. Like I asked that in Sabonis exactly that of the game. I was like, how does it feel to just like play exactly how you want and just the shot doesn't go in? And it's like they both just basically like, it sucks. It's so frustrating because you're pros, you spend your whole career trying to make these shots when you get them, and then to not be able to make them on a really important game on national TV is really awful. Did it cut out again? I was in the middle of a long one. What? This is tough. Okay. All right. Okay. I was in the middle of a good monologue. Now I'm pissed. Okay. All right. Good luck editing this. Have fun. Have fun. I don't hear you. Do I hear you?
All right.
There you go.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Jimmy, when he's not being an ass.
Yeah. Well, my big takeaway from this game is kind of simplistic, but like they just missed a lot of really open and easy shots, and they generated the shots they wanted to have. They just didn't make them. And like Nate talked about that in the presser, and then I asked Thad and Sabonis about it, and they both basically said the same thing, which like this is the expected answer, but it's just, it's what you hear. It's like, how does it feel to just play your game and miss those shots? And they both basically just said it sucks. It's so frustrating because you're pros who've spent your whole career trying to set it up so that when you have these shot attempts, you make them, and then you miss them, and all of a sudden now the Sixers have easy transition points. And then, in the first half, I think they went into halftime down 8 or 9 or something like that.
6. It was just 6. It was a pretty close. I mean, I thought it was back and forth till basically that third quarter run.
Right. So what Nate said and what they kind of agreed with is like after a while that just gets so deflating that you mentally just get drained and out of the game because it's like, why aren't these shots going in? Oh crap, I just got beat on D. So like, obviously the Sixers have their 3 best players are all really good defenders. Like plus defender is not enough. They are like all very, very good. So there's something to missing some shots, but missing as many as they did that were just open good looks. I think it was somewhere between 12 and 14 just missed layups. That's an anomaly. And I don't think that they, played well enough to win even with the right shots, but it definitely would not have been a 24-point loss that gets us like in free fall of how good this team is.
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit the point exactly with this team. The Sixers generally are a really good defensive team. So last year they were really they were 4th in defense. This year they're 10th, but remember they added Butler. So like when you look at it on paper, you're thinking, okay, you went from being the 4th best defensive team in the NBA, and you added what Jimmy Butler's maybe we rank him among defenders top 5. I mean, he's one of the better
defenders. Yeah, top 10.
Yeah, wing defenders. I mean, like he's one of the maybe the 5 best wing defenders in the NBA. So you should. I mean, once you figure it out, you're just adding a great defender to an already great defense. And so that was why I know they missed some open looks. I understand that. But in general, they got more contested looks, especially Butler for a while was kind of squashing Bogdanovic, and then he switched a little bit on Vic too. And just, I don't know, it seemed like nobody could really feel like they get in a rhythm. And that's kind of what a good defense does. It just throws you off your rhythm the entire game. That's why even when you don't make open looks, because you're just out of rhythm.
They did an okay job throwing these Sixers out of rhythm in the first half, but then I think they just shut down on D in the second half. And like Thad's takeaway was not even they scored 96, and Thad was more about the defense sucking than the offense, which when you give up that many transition opportunities, your defense is going to suck. But
and I would say part of it too is Turner is just not a good matchup for Embiid. It's like it's kind of his antidote to his rim protecting, I guess, be able to guard defenders on the perimeter. Like Embiid is the one player, he just give him the ball he'll just constantly post Turner up. I mean, he'll make moves on him. I mean, he had 40 in the last time they played.
Yeah, he kills him.
And I'm not sure. I mean, there might not be an answer for Embiid in general. Honestly, I don't think Sabonis is the answer either. I think Embiid is just that good of a player. I mean, he had 22 and 13, and he get to 8 assists. He almost got triple-double. I mean, he's that good of a player. And I think part of it too is that the Pacers maybe don't have the, I'd say outside of Vic, the clutchest or, best players in big moments. The Sixers have 3 guys who maybe don't have experience in terms of Embiid and Simmons, but 3 guys who you would say, you trust those guys to end up, to come up big because they're great NBA players.
I think that they just match up really poorly. I mean, we say that every single time they play, right? Like the Sixers already match up nightmare.
But last year the Pacers got the bet. I mean, the Pacers.
Well, they didn't have Jimmy Butler last year.
So it's kind of leads to another point. So the Sixers are what the 4 seed right now in the East?
Yep.
4 or 5 or somewhere they're close. Is this team though probably you would guess in the playoffs the odds-on favorite to make the NBA Finals?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think we're the 4th best team in the East, even in the playoffs.
Really? So where do you put the Pacers? 3rd still?
5th.
5th. Okay, that's fine. That's where I would put them.
Toronto 1, probably Boston or Milwaukee 2, and the other one 3, and then Philly 4.
So you look around the East, right? But no team has a better 3 players than the Sixers, right? On most courts, Sixers will have 3 of the best 4 players, right?
Yes, but they have none of the next 5.
But isn't that how the
No,
LeBron
Toronto has 2 of the best 5. Boston
Yeah,
And
no, but I'm saying 1 through 4, they'll have the 3 of the 4 best players in any court, and Butler
no,
has the ability to
no.
be no against who? Wait, not
The Raptors would have 2 of the best 4.
You think Lowry's better than Simmons?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, but I mean, I feel like Simmons, obviously his size, and I guess he can't hit a jump shot, so I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like in most matchups, even the Raptors, you could say they almost have 3 of the 4 best players on the court, and that's kind of how LeBron won the East for so many years with the Heat, and then with the Cavs.
He's nasty and
he's nasty, but I'm saying is that's kind of been the recipe to win in the East. You know, when they get to playoff time, who cares if you're 12 deep? You can only you only need 7 or 8 guys.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think the Sixers stars fit together well enough. Plus their depth to make them better than where they are right now.
Well, I would say 2 things. One, they're probably going to get a guy in the buyout market, if I had to guess.
Agreed.
And two, their 4 of Redick, Butler, Simmons, and Embiid is really. I mean, imagine if any other team in the East is top 4. It's just.
I don't agree with that.
So which one? Just give me
Siakam, Kawhi, Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, better.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I mean, it's. I mean, I agree. It's not like a huge gap, but I don't know how much better that. Top
I'm a big Raptors guy. We'll talk about them later.
yeah, we will talk them later. So I'm trying to think. Butler and Kawhi count each other out, and Embiid's better than any of those guys, though. Anybody else on the Raptors? Not
Kawhi.
No. I'm saying if Butler and Kawhi cross each other out as canceling out, then the next guy is Embiid, who's a pretty big gap between Embiid and whoever the 4th best guy is.
Yeah,
I really like the Sixers team. Like in terms of, I mean, I don't like them because I don't want them to win, but in terms of like, I think.
George just sank them. That was sweet. That was sweet.
Yes, but I just think this team has the Sixers have a. I would put them as close to favorites to win the East in my mind.
Wow.
I just think they're. I mean, if they can just ride Butler, Simmons, and Embiid for 40 minutes a night, which is maybe not possible in the playoffs, they have a real shot. Now, Oklahoma City, that was pretty nice. I mean, I don't want to pause about Paul George's podcast because we're not the Oklahoma City Thunder podcast, but that was pretty nice.
And it helped the Pacers. That's what Miles Turner said in the playoffs. He saw it and he goes, "Oh, that helps us."
I mean, we don't need to do the Paul George thing because he's having an MVP year probably.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah. So another thing about the top team sinking the Pacers, they have. Another thing about those games though. So Philly shot 53% from 3-pointers, 18 for 34. The Celtics shot 44% from 3, 14 for 32. The Raptors shot 52%, 17 to 33. That's all really good. And that's super not going to happen every time. I mean, they're going to get high up there because they're really good teams. That's how it works. But it's not going to be that good every time. And that is insurmountable. Like over 50%, you lose. Like even if you are making your shots, you just lose. So some of it is just cleaning up the 3-point defense. Will get you right back in the game.
Yeah, but
that's insane. 3 times in a row. So it's clearly a trend. Like I'm not saying it's a fluke. They all did it. But you have to have better 3-point defense and discipline. That is embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, but what's the Pacers' weakest part of their defense when you think about it on paper? It's 3-point shooting, right?
3-point defense. Really? I mean,
it's 3-point defense. Yeah, it is.
Not really.
They don't really have
I mean, Bojan and DC can't really stay in front of anybody, and neither can McDermott. But it's not like their 3-point defense is really bad.
Yeah, but they don't have any smothering defenders on the wing.
Cool.
Debo.
Okay. And I think that has more to do with ball handling than like a jump shot.
I don't know. I feel like the weakness is 3-point shooting essentially is only because what teams can do is they'll beat Kyle Center blowing off the dribble. They'll force Turner to panic in, forces kind of everybody to switch around. All of a sudden, guys in the open from somewhere on the 3-point line for the Raptors. Essentially,
it's all about containing the guy in front of you. Which when they have to break down because someone gets beat, that's when it matters. But I don't think anyone individually is like getting it killed. It's when everything else breaks down. You have to keep your guy in front of you at all times.
I guess my thought is they have 2 guys you can do that to a lot, so it makes it easy.
Yes,
you can put either one of those guys in a pick and roll a ton. You have 2 ways to kind of versus like a lot of teams have like 1 weak defender. The Pacers have 2, which is a problem at times.
Yes.
It's why Joseph plays end of games when it matters because he can actually.
Because he's a very good perimeter defender.
Yeah, and the Pacers besides that don't really have. I mean, they don't have any like. I mean, they have Thad, who's been a pretty decent defender at times guarding forwards or small forwards, but besides that, they don't really have any like tall, lengthy defender. Besides that, I guess.
Yeah,
but I just think the weak point when you have a team that is really disciplined in passing the ball, it can kill the Pacers. And that's what the good teams in the league are, right? They're willing to kind of let the open guy shoot instead of just trying to force shots constantly.
You got to keep the guy in front of you. Yeah, they do have a weakness of that. because like Turner's so good because he can clean up some of those messes. But if they make 2 extra passes, all of a sudden, you got to rotate.
Isn't Turner's fault. Turner's defense is that he forces you to take threes because you don't want to come to the lane, and that's right. Kind of like why it happens, because teams are like, oh, I'm not going to go in and shoot a 5-foot floater because Turner's going to swat that thing into the stands. Like we have to find other ways to score, and mid rangers aren't worth anything, so we're just going to keep kind of knifing into the lane and hoping somebody gets open on the perimeter. Just keep doing that constantly.
Right.
So, but I also think against the Sixers, General Oladipo has to play better. I don't know how else to put it. He's got to.
Oh yeah, that was not good.
He's got to figure out. I understand that teams have adjusted defensively to him, and he's got to figure out how to adjust. And that's the next step a star takes. Is
he had the 7 assists? He did the first part of that. The second part is not shooting so many off the dribble threes or pull ups from the elbow that he's not been hitting at all recently. Actually, he shot threes okay against the Sixers, but in general this week he did not.
So I'm going to bring up Paul George because simply it's sort of what. So when Paul George first came in the league, he shocked everybody the way Oladipo did, and Sana was able to kind of go to the rim and score at ease and do kind of all the other stuff of the game. Then teams adjusted to him and forced him into contested layups that were hard for him, so he settled for a lot of jump shots. Well, now he's sort of adjusted again as a player and figured out how he find the right balance between, okay, I can pull up anytime or I can get in the lane and get an efficient shot. And so that's what Oladipo needs to go next. He's to figure out kind of how he can get that balance of I can be really efficient by the rim, but I also can hit these pull-up threes sometimes. And so that's his next level to reach. And hopefully he finds it by the end of the year, but I don't know. But it took Paul George, 3 seasons to figure that out probably?
Yes.
It took him a long. He's still a good player. Both Oladipo and George were still a good player, but to get that next step of greatness, that's how you reach it.
I agree.
So and especially a game it's like Philly and like that Boston game earlier. It's those games where your best player just has to, like when other guys are struggling, just step up and be like the guy. And
6 for 20 just will not cut it. Period.
No, and he doesn't have to take 20 shots. If he's 6 for 12 but creating everything for everybody, and then they lose a game because nobody hit other shots, then you have to figure that out. But yeah, you can't just keep taking pull-up threes that are you make. I don't know what his rate makes him at, but he makes him at a decent rate, but not a high enough rate where it's like super efficient shot.
Right.
So
not this year, at least.
No, not this year. You look at his shooting splits; they're actually almost identical to Luka Doncic, except that he shoots less shots. No, seriously. Wow. They're like I think Luka is the same thing at 43 and 36, but Luka taking like 18 shots versus 16.
Yeah.
Which right? Luka's having a good year, but for a rookie, but he's not having a good a great NBA season.
He's having a pretty good NBA season.
No, and that's what Oladipo's having, a pretty good season, but he's not having a great season.
Right.
So Luka's 43 and 36 on 15 shots. Sorry. So actually, he's a little better than Oladipo.
On offense.
Yeah, on offense. This is all just points. I'm talking about offensive efficiency, not defensively. Yeah, no, I understand. But to get to that level where he should be a no-brainer all-star starter, even when he missed 10 games or 11 games, he's got to find that next gear, I guess.
Yeah, it has not been pretty these last few weeks. There's a reason people are asking him if he's injured.
Yeah, and I know you had tweeted out that you asked him, or somebody asked him in one of the media scrums. I don't know if he'd tell people he was injured, to be honest. I don't know if he would.
Well, but he talked about being playing slightly injured earlier, after he returned, which is why I really don't think he is, because why would he bring up that he used to be but he's not anymore? I think he would just say no if he actually was.
I guess, but if he's hurt, but not severely hurt, it's just a subtleness where he can't get quite the burst of speed he used to have. I wonder if that's
possible.
And maybe, are you at all concerned that this is we got, let's say 100 games of great Oladipo and that's going to be it? We're never going to see that again. You all concerned?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No.
I'm not concerned yet, but we'll see how this rest of the season goes.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Even if this year never recovers, it could come back.
Yeah. To end on a positive note, they're 30 and 15 and third in the East. So, that's pretty good. And they don't seem to lose to bad teams. So besides that stupid Cavs game.
That was where they got screwed at the end of the game.
Yeah, where they really won the game and they got hosed by the refs. But no, they're 30 and 15. So it's been a good year so far, right? They're 60% of the way through, about halfway through the season to the amount of wins we thought they'd get, or more than what we get.
Yep.
Right? What's their on pace total? So if they win 2/3 of their games, they're on pace for it's
51.
No,
51.
2/3 is 51 of 82.
Yeah, 27 times 3.
27
is 81. 27 times 3 is 81. So a third of those of
54, Tony. 54. 27.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
17 times 3
Adam.
is 50.
Very good.
17 times 3 is 51.
I got the first part of the math right, and I got the second part of the math very wrong.
Yeah, but so 54 wins they're on pace for, and We'll see. They got
Woo, that was embarrassing.
This schedule gets a little tougher. It does for sure. They play some better teams. So we'll talk about that actually in 2 segments from now. We'll take a quick break, and then we're actually going to talk about our weekly trade corner. All right, Tony. Do you want me to start with the blockbuster trade or a semi-blockbuster trade? I guess
your blockbuster trade. Actually, no. We'll save it. All
right. So the first one,
huge trades. That scares me.
No, they're not huge trades. Well, they're definitely trading the top 8 player for a player.
Okay.
So the first one, and because my tabs are being annoying, I have to re-pull them back up. But the first one was I was trying to figure out how they could acquire Aaron Gordon.
Okay.
This has been a project of ours of mine for a little bit. So obvious with the Magic, they're starting to kind of fade outside that playoff race. They're 19 and 27. I don't know how many games back they exactly are of the 8 seed, but they're starting to get farther and farther away and looking probably to go into tank mode. Now, I don't know if they'd be in for Zion Williamson or what, because they have a ton of forward center players. But anyways, Aaron Gordon, I still think it's being misused. Whatever it is not being played right. He makes about $20 million this year, give or take, 18, 19. And then
declining contract.
So his contract becomes pretty valuable over
beautiful.
time. And so the Magic clearly need a point guard who, lucky for them, the Pacers have 3 of them who they could trade them, right?
In theory, yeah.
In theory. So I'm going to pull up the Magic's salary cap real fast to make sure I have the numbers matched up. But essentially, you could either do 2 ways for Aaron Gordon. He makes 21 this year. So you would probably be willing to take back like a Jerian Grant or somebody low if you're trying to get a player back that at least has some value. So Jerian Grant is 26. He's a point guard. He's not great, but he could play in a rotation. He could play in a rotation and be fine.
No, he cannot. He's really bad. He's the reason the Magic don't have like a 500 record. Because DJ Augustin's been okay, and then they put in Jerian Grant, and he's just bad.
Well, you probably wouldn't play him. You'd probably play him behind. And Aaron Holiday's involved in this trade.
You absolutely would play him behind Holiday. I agree.
Yeah. So what I meant in rotation, I meant by like if he's the 4th point guard, he could fill in for a game or 2 and not be the end of the world. That's what I meant.
Yes.
So combined, Gordon and Jerian Grant make about $23 million. So to get there, you probably could look at something like our boy Darren Collison or Tyreke Evans and maybe a Thaddeus Young. That's probably the move.
Now, why did the Magic do this?
So the Magic do it because they want to get off Gordon's contract. Maybe you throw in a 2nd-round pick, something like that. But they do it because
they did not sign him to a declining, really good deal just to get off of the deal. They did that to get assets.
Hold on. And the asset here is they get – so now the question is what point guard would they want? Would you have to give up Corey Joseph? That could be the issue. Or Tyreke Evans. But you give them a point guard who they could use for the next couple of years.
Oh, man. They would laugh at you for that.
I don't know. I mean, what would you have to throw in that? Another 1st-rounder, I guess? A 1st-round pick?
Yes. Absolutely. Okay.
And would you do that then for the Pacers?
At least.
Yeah. Well, what is he really getting more than – you're really going to trade 3 assets for Aaron Gordon?
Well, you just said he's really good. He's only 22, 23 years old.
No, he's not really good. He's being misused. He could be better.
He is really good and being misused. And he's declined. His contract is really good. He's a good player. Yeah, they're going to want more than expiring deals for him.
Well, also look at the fact it clears up their cap a little bit.
They have pretty good cap sheet outside of
they're pretty much set on cap.
Busy Mac, Biombo.
Well, and they're not a big.
Where do they have Mozgov now? Which one do they have? They shook out with one of those guys. I don't.
They have Mozgov right now.
That was so confusing.
16 for next year. So, but here's what I'll say: is they would make this trade because it would get them a point guard who they could use for the next 3 or 4 years, which they need a good point guard to develop their center.
The only point guard on the Pacers roster they could guarantee to have for 3 to 4 years is Aaron Holiday. So if you're willing to throw in Holiday, I'm sure.
No, but you don't think they could throw a big money contract at a Darren Collison or a Joseph?
Well, why not just wait 5 months?
So that's the question, right? You could do that. So they'll be at 83 million. So that will be 25 in space, right?
Yes.
Give or take, assuming they don't bring back Vucevic or Ross. If not, they end up looking more like – so they bring back Vucevic, which I guess I don't know if they're going to do, right? That would be –
They'll keep him. He's really good.
Right? He's really good, but they have all these centers, so it's kind of confusing. So they bring him back. What's Vucevic worth? 15, 20 a year? Probably 18?
Yeah, he's going to be an all-star, so 18.
So 18 puts them right up on the cap, essentially. They're $5 million below. So then they can't get a guy. They can't get a guy like Darren Collison.
Bird rights are a thing. So sign a point guard and re-sign.
Well, okay, so fine. His cap hit's going to be 15 because he makes 12.5, right? So 125 of 12.7. So fine, then they have 7 million in space instead of 6. Or
that'll get you something. That'll get you something. That's not worth trading away Aaron Gordon for expirings.
It might be.
I totally disagree.
Well, I mean, they need to get a point guard in there, right? I mean, I don't know what value they have in having Aaron Gordon there. Let's put it that way at this point.
I also don't think that DJ Augustine has been like marks worse than Darren Collison this year. So
no, so I mean, maybe
doesn't make a lot of sense.
Maybe you have to give up Evans or Joseph. I mean, I
don't know why either of them moved the needle to get a 22-year-old very good player.
Because I think they
don't need to clear space though.
I think they want a point guard who is better than Augustine. They don't have one. I think Collison. I mean, I think Collison's locker room presence would also be really good for them in general.
They can get a guy in the summer if they.
Are you sure? I mean, how many guards? I mean, a lot of people looking for a guard. I mean, there's not a ton of guards to be available this summer that are going to be moving.
Yeah, there's going to be anyone better than who they have now. So.
Yeah, but I mean, if you let's say even if you gave them 2, let's say you gave them Evans and Collison.
You're not willing to throw in Aaron Holiday, then how good do you really think this guy is? Like, I think that you're missing how good Aaron Gordon is here. This is not even close to the correct value for Aaron Gordon.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, but so let's say you throw in Aaron Holiday, then you throw in Holiday.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but that's about what it would take.
Do you think it's worth it? Let's say you do Holiday makes 2, so that counters out for Grant, and then you throw in, let's say, you throw in Evans and Thad.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that, but that's probably what the trade would look like.
Is that a good move for the Pacers long term? Might be.
Maybe. Depends how much Aaron Gordon can be. I don't know what the right word is. Harnessed. How much they can harness out of Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, I guess my only thought with Gordon is I don't think he's quite worth Aaron Holiday value, but I think you're probably right. He's not quite worth some expiring value. So maybe you throw in just your own first round pick and that gets him. Maybe that's where you settle at.
Yeah.
Maybe that works. And that way you can keep
protected or something.
Yeah, I mean, but they're going to be in the 20. I mean, they're going to be 25. So maybe you throw in your first. I mean, that's what I could see, I guess. Maybe them throwing in their first round pick. And that could move the needle for the Magic, certainly because the team just isn't good. And if they just want to, I mean, I don't know what the end game of this Magic team is. I really can't figure it out because they've got 3 centers and that doesn't really make any sense. So I don't know. I mean, do they have to trade one of those guys? Maybe that's the move for an asset. And I don't know. But it seems like Aaron Gordon is being wasted away, at least on this team, if I had to say.
Yeah, but I don't think that means they're going to trade him for expirings. I think
could he force his way out of there? Could he say how went out?
No, absolutely not. He signed a 4-year deal. He's going to be there for 4 years.
Yeah, but do you don't think he signed that 4-year deal knowing that he was going to be traded? I mean, come on.
No.
Yeah, who signed a declining contract? For sure. I mean, he had to have okay, I'm probably not going to be here for all 4 years. I think if you asked him and he was telling the truth, he said, I knew I was going to be here for all 4 years.
They probably said, we'll give you 4 for 70. And he said, I want 4 for 90. And they said, we'll give you 4 for 80 and make it declining so we could trade you. And he said, fine. Yeah,
but I feel like you have to know if you're making declining contract, you're going to be traded most likely, especially how bad the Magic are.
Well, why does that affect his trade value?
No, it doesn't. But I'm saying that he could force his way out of there then, theoretically.
They have him for 4 more years. He cannot do anything.
He's just being so wasted away. I don't know. He's the one player in this league where I feel like.
But he's doing okay for them. I don't think he's being wasted away.
The team is terrible. He's playing in playoff games. He'll be playing in playoff games.
They're playing Jerry and Grant 20 minutes a night, and Mo Bamba sucks because he's a rookie, and Johnny Isaac's basically
They're probably 2 years away by the time he's in. I mean, he'll still.
In 2 years, they'll have him for 2 more years.
Well, no, I'm thinking he'll be good by 2021, 22.
Okay, well, he'll be there still.
I want him on the Pacers. I guess I would certainly think about if you could figure out how to get him on the team somehow with a point guard and a pick, if that might work. I mean, I think that's the centerpiece of a trade. And I do think the point guards the Pacers have value because they have so many of them. They have 3 guys who can play point guard.
Yeah.
And they don't need all 3 technically, really. They can figure out how to get some kind of wing player, another forward that would be really helpful for their team.
Getting a forward would be ideal.
Yeah. So then
I would not do it in a trade though. I would just buy out of it or something.
As you can tell, I mean, I've wanted Aaron Gordon since the summer, so I'm just trying to figure it out.
A lot of people had.
I agree with you. You probably had thrown a pick, but I would have headed to throw in Aaron Holiday on that kind of trade, I guess.
Well, then you don't get Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, maybe you should sell high on Holiday right now, right?
No.
No, maybe. I mean, I don't know. What are the odds he really becomes a great player? Who knows? been a lot of guys who flashes the rookie year and fall apart, and that's where my next trade comes in.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So the next trade, this one is like I said, I had to re-open all my tabs. So Mike Conley, obviously the big blockbuster.
We just had this chat in the 8.9 group chat of Mike Conley trades. Let's go.
So Mike Conley makes a ridiculous amount of money. Let's be clear. He makes way too much money. He's really good, but he's not $30 million a year good, right?
Yeah, accurate. He's probably like 25 million.
He's probably 25, and he's not 30 million, then 30, what is it, 34 million last
32,
year?
34. Yeah.
So it's a lot of money, but if you're the Pacers, frankly, why not sacrifice your future cap space?
I argued for Conley.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I like Mike Conley a lot. And I feel like Conley is good enough level of guy that you could say, okay, we saved our cap space to get a guy this good who fits this well.
Okay, perfect. So then let's talk some trades.
So I don't think, I'm going to burst your bubble and say, I think you don't trade for him now. You wait till the summer and just take him into space because the cap relief is the thing that the Grizzlies would want so much.
So I think you don't do that because I think the East is the most open it's going to be over the next 3 years this year.
With Kawhi going to the Clippers, I don't know.
The Sixers, dude. Sixers going to be really good.
How are they going to get better?
Because Embiid's going to get better because he's 22 years old and
so they either keep Jimmy and that's their team, or they lose Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely think I'm going to be able to beat a team that has Embiid who's 23 and another year of great his legs under him. Simmons,
I don't know how to get like I don't know how to
Butler
get,
who's going to be at his peak by 30. You know,
how do they get appreciably better?
What the Sixers? You don't need to get better. They have 3 really good players.
How do they get appreciably better?
They have a ton of picks
Butler
that they can flip for another guy. Don't the Sixers still have a ton of Miami picks or a Miami pick left?
They have one in 2021.
Yeah, so a pretty good Miami pick left to flip.
That is their only option left.
They're good. Embiid's gonna be the best player in the East. If he's not right now, he's not better than Giannis, but he's really good. He's really good.
When did he jump Giannis? Because
no, he hasn't. But Embiid's really good, and he plays with 2 other really good players, which is it's hard to beat any team with. I don't know. I feel like this is the year where they're like still weak because they're still kind of inexperienced and not the chemistry hasn't fit yet. But by next year they'll be kind of figured it out. Maybe. Now I could be wrong. Butler could be a disaster for any team, so I could be. That's my argument for this year. Now you can agree with that or not, but that's why my argument is that this year is very open. The East is really open.
What's your second trade?
So the trade, now that I was trying to get to it, Conley makes 30.5, and then Omri Caspi makes 2.1. It's about 32 million for the Pacers on their side. I believe I had a Doug McDermott in this trade. I had Tyreke Evans because last year they loved Tyreke Evans in Memphis, so send him right back there.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
I mean, he was great down there.
He's from there. There you go, buddy. You're doing you a favor. Have fun.
And I think first you got to put Holiday in it too. I mean, you have to. That's the only way this works, right?
Oh man, that I grappled with that because some people were talking about trading for him now. Could the Grizzlies talk themselves into cap relief in first? Like, I don't know if that would work for them or not.
I don't know.
But okay, actually, Thad and Tyreke are from Memphis. Oh my gosh,
that's what I was gonna say. So my guy was Thad. so that was my move. So it was Thad, Tyreke. You might need to do McDermott. It might get you over too much. So maybe you have to kind of figure out how to put like Leaf and Aaron Holiday into it. But I was thinking that Caspi can kind of do what McDermott does. Now McDermott's younger than Caspi and has been a little bit. I mean, I don't know if he's been a little better this year, but he's been what he is. But it's a similar player for this season, at least. A guy who I feel like you could put Caspi in your playoff rotation and it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah, he's been like a locker room problem every single place he's gone, though. Is the only pushback I have on Omri Caspi.
But he's shooting 52 and 35.
Okay.
I mean, not very many minutes. I actually didn't know that on Caspi.
He had a fight with Garrett Temple. Remember that?
Is that what it was in the Kings that distracted him? I guess.
No, that was this year with the Grizzlies.
Was that this year with the Grizzlies?
So
he's got to be traded anyways. Or cut.
They got to get him out of here.
So fine, but maybe you don't give up McDermott. Maybe I think if you put Tyreke, Thad, Holiday, and you put Leaf, it gets each other right. I'm almost matching on numbers. I think you're close. It might be another way you have to do it, but it gets you close.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the value, like what they're looking for Conley. A lot of that depends on how they feel about Gasol too. But yeah, I think he's gettable for cheap just because they might be looking to hit the reset button pretty soon.
I think they should hit the reset button like today.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been time.
Especially if they get.
So I've been really angry because I think he's probably like the most gettable guy for the Pacers in terms of fit and talent for them. That makes sense. I know the money's insane, but it's only 2 years because he's for sure going to opt in.
Oh, yeah. No way he's not opting in that $34 million payday.
So you can just, like, if he doesn't opt in, it's honestly a blessing at that point. But, you could operate like that in trades. You could say, well, we only know we're getting this guy for a year. Like, the price for him is not going to be very high.
So a couple things. Is there a way you could do this McDermott, Collison, and Evans and keep Thad to keep the team intact for a playoff run? It's tough, right? It's tough. I don't think
you have to add in another asset somehow.
So you put Holiday in that one. So you give him basically 3 point. Well, that's too much. Yeah, you give him 3 point guards.
Yeah.
For one, essentially. You could do that. I think you definitely do that, right? If you could do that.
I'm a Conley guy. I think for the right price, I would trade for him. I don't know how many assets I'd be willing to give up for the money, but he would.
So my thought is
he'd be a fantastic fit on this team.
Yes, and my also thought is that it might be time to get rid of Thad, sell high on his good year. He might probably not going to return if I had to guess right now, just because I don't think he wants to come back. Maybe he does for the team, but
right.
It was very tenuous last year, so I'm not sure if that's going to be that could be brought back. And second of all, I think it might be time just to commit all into the Sabonis Turner for a year, see if it works. If it doesn't, then you got to trade one. But like at this point,
the playoffs also, and I agree with that. But I think the playoffs also be very telling in that way of like, does this work?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, as much as I think separately they've both been great this year, it's at some point like you're limiting one of the guys' ceilings essentially by not letting them play together. And you're limiting the ability to get a guy who can play in the last 5 minutes of a playoffs game.
Right.
Which I mean, and it will probably be one of the hardest decisions. It's probably going to be the hardest decision of Kevin Pritchard's tenure so far. I guess traded Paul George. That was pretty tough. But in terms of this roster construction, I guess. I mean, of things that like he wasn't forced to do, it'll be the hardest thing he has to do because I think unless they can play together, which maybe they can, but like I feel like Sabonis, Turner, Oladipo have like a bond kind of together that's I don't know, going to be hard to break, and it might disrupt the locker room. But
I don't want to think ahead like that.
But that's why I think it's why you got to get rid of that and just commit to it. If you're gonna have
I want that the rest of the year.
I know I do too, but I mean, if they lose in the first round of the playoffs, does it really matter? Like whether they have that or don't have that?
Yeah, it does. They'll get thumped.
Why? They're gonna lose.
They'll get thumped without him.
Not for the 3 seed. They're the 3 seed. They can beat whoever. They can beat 3 seed if they didn't have that.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a different thing. How do they get the 3 seed without Thad?
I mean, Sabonis and Turner could do it.
That is the third.
Whoa, okay. If you added Mike Conley, you could be the 3 seed.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
That's what I mean. You don't just sell Thad for no reason. You sell Thad for a good player.
I need to get an I Heart Thad T-shirt.
No, and I'm not trying to hate on Thad.
Shirts, but it says I Heart Thad.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hate on Thad. Just think that like he's not going to return. He's going to get a decent contract, and he's not going to return. So you might as well kind of.
I wouldn't trade Thad for Giannis. Just kidding. I would do that,
but calm down. All right. I guess is there any other thoughts with Mike Conley? I know you said you were talking about it with your 8.
No, we covered a lot of it. The downside for Will Furr, because Will probably will listen now that this is happening. Will was the big no, please don't guy. That kind of money come out of the guy who's had tons of back problems and an Achilles tear, who could decline soon because he's over 30. That is scary. That very clearly there is a lot of risk to the move. So devil's advocate, yes, there are a lot of reasons not to do it.
But Conley and Oladipo would be the best.
They fit so well. I agree. That was my thesis. Right,
it'd be the best backcourt in the East.
You save your space to get a guy who's really good and fits, and he checks both boxes. So
if you could do it for Evans, Holiday, Collison, and McDermott, I think you would do that in 5 seconds.
I argued for it in the summer, just so you could use your cap space and give up.
No, but imagine a top 7 where you still have Thad, and then you're off your bench is Sabonis. And Joseph, and then I'm trying to think who'd be. I mean, you don't even need an 8th guy in the playoffs, but you can make Caspi your 8th guy.
Man, if you can get Caspi also. Yeah.
Well, I think you can't get him in a trade with Conley. I think you could probably.
I guess.
I mean, I don't know what are they keeping Caspi for? I'm kind of thinking he's expiring as well. You can get.
I just don't know why they'd be like, sure, you can also have this guy.
So that they could get Howard. I don't know. I guess because I feel like it seems weird to trade 4 guys for 1 player. Like you need some other guy filler.
Wave a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, Keston one of the guys they'll waive. I guess I don't know. I don't know who they waive. He's kind of towards the. So I don't know. I'm thinking of a top 7.
Let's preview the week ahead. We've been talking about this.
Yeah, we haven't. But calling the top 7 make this team. That would be the best. Oladipo would probably be the best backcourt. No, front court. No, backcourt. Right?
Backcourt. You were right the first time.
In the Eastern Conference.
Don't psych yourself out like that.
I did. I thought in the Eastern Conference. They would be, for sure.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. Sorry.
All right. Well, Tony's playing some music. Let's take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll preview this upcoming week. All right, welcome back into the Locked On Pacers podcast. So the Pacers' first game of the week, it's actually a pretty tough week coming up. I guess it depends how good the team the Grizzlies are, but two teams who were decent at least at one point, and you got the best team in the Eastern Conference, and that's the Raptors at 35-13. You want to do the numbers, Tony?
I would love to, Adam. The Toronto Raptors, best record in the NBA, 35-13. They are 6th in offense and 8th in defense and 17th in pace. And very good at beating the Pacers in Canada. Very good at beating them.
Yes. Well, they should have won the first one.
They even won in Canada, and I saw some stat about the last time they won in Canada. It's an alarmingly long time.
Well, they won that one postseason game in Canada, game one of.
They should have won two if Solomon Hill knew how to didn't forget how to shoot the ball.
Yeah, or if
Paul Canada. Yeah, that was in Canada.
They should have won Game 5 in Canada.
Yeah, they should have.
But so that was the last time. It was 2015, I think.
Good Lord.
So you brought this up to my attention. It is a back-to-back for the Raptors, correct?
Yes, you know what? We'll just spill the candy in the lobby. Both teams the Pacers play this week, Raptors and Grizzlies, are both on a back-to-back, while the Pacers have giant gaps in between their games. So they have a rest advantage, and they can scout just that one team.
So that's a makeup for the last time the Pacers played the Raptors, or 2 times ago.
For sure.
They played them on a back-to-back 2 times ago after playing. Raptors hadn't played since Sunday, so they had 3 days off, and then they played the Pacers, and the Pacers had to play it back-to-back. They had just lost at home to the Cavs on a heartbreak. So it also means Kawhi might not play because he's still not playing back-to-back, correct?
Yes, I think so.
I believe so. He's on my fantasy team, and it keeps pissing me off every day. So I'm pretty sure it's true because he has been really good this year, but he's playing 3 times every week instead of 4 when he should be playing 4.
Wow.
First world problems, right, man? So speaking of Kawhi, he's obviously been their best player. He's top 5 MVP candidate probably.
Yeah. No, top 10. Probably not
top 10. Probably not. There's been a lot of good. Harden shot up from probably 8th at one point to 1st. So Kawhi is 27.6 points per game, 8 rebounds, 3 assists on a very nice 50, 37, 85 shooting split.
Yeah, he's insane. He is just insane. No one will ever catch Harden, but yeah, Kawhi is making an argument that Kawhi is showing that he's clearly the second best player in the East and not as far behind Giannis as we all say he is. He's insane. It's so hard to stop him. He stops whoever he wants to stop. There's no way to game plan for him. You have to game plan to contain stuff around him, but not actually him. If that makes sense.
He played in their first game, but the second time against the Pacers, correct?
I think he played both.
Did he play in both? I thought he did not. Maybe Lowry didn't play in one of them?
Lowry did not play in one of them. I agree. Wait, I can't remember. You might be right now that I think about it.
No, he didn't play in that Sunday game. I know he didn't.
Okay.
I remember that now because remember they lost.
You are right.
We made a whole.
They played the night before against Milwaukee and they won. That's right.
So with the Raptors, though, it doesn't matter Kawhi plays, I think, because they beat you to death with their depth.
Yes, their depth is one of the few teams better than the Pacers. CJ Miles, former Pacer legend, is 11th on that team in minutes.
That's insane.
I know. He's like and he's probably not their 11th best guy, quote unquote, but like they play a lot of guys more than him. They're deep at center, they're deep at guard, they're deep on the wing. It's like there's no hole in their team to really exploit them.
And just like the Pacers, because of Sabonis Turner, they can basically flip you can match you on center plays because they've got Ibaka who can play kind of a stretch center, and then you got Valanciunas who can play more traditional.
Valanciunas is still hurt, I think.
Is he still hurt? I thought he was returned.
I don't think so.
No, you're right. He hurt his thumb. Didn't he come back? Did he get re-hurt again?
They said he's gonna miss 4 weeks at the start of this month, so he's probably not gonna get back for this.
Yeah, no, but then he came back at one point, right? And then got re-hurt? Or he's been hurt for
I think he's been hurt for a long time now.
Oh, I thought he came back for a short stretch. I could be wrong. He has not. I am wrong. Why did I feel like he was coming back sooner than I thought he was? I thought he'd be back by January. I mean, so I guess I was wrong on that one. So they can't do that, but then they can do Greg Monroe then. Some kind of not quite as good as Valanciunas, but some kind of concept.
Yeah,
where they can go big center and play more traditional.
Yeah, they have a lot of versatility. They also got Chris Boucher to play some good minutes the first time these two teams played, and he's like I think he's a 2-way guy. He really stretched out the team. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah, so
I guess they have Pat McCaw now too. They just keep adding guys.
So I guess outside Lowry and Leonard, is it Siakam who you are most afraid of?
Love. That dude is awesome.
Or is it Green? I guess. I mean, did Ibaka have a pretty good game against the Pacers last time too?
Siakam can do everything except shoot threes. Green can shoot threes and guard anybody. You know, that's such a pro they have. They have Danny Green and Kawhi to guard the Pacers' two best scorers. Ibaka's like suddenly Benjamin Button aging this year and is better than he was last year. Fred VanVleet is super good off the bench. Like, there's not OG Anunoby. I don't want to talk about him too much because everybody gets mad every time someone in Pacerland says his name. But you know, they just have like no holes. All those guys have a skill that they are supreme at that makes them so good and useful all the time.
Yeah, and then it will hurt the Pacers because the Pacers' advantage over a lot of teams that they've got two really good bench players in Joseph and in Sabonis, and they won't be able to. Although Sabonis might have some opportunities to kind of exploit the Raptors, Joseph definitely won't because VanVleet's pretty good.
Right, VanVleet is super solid.
Is this C Miles? Last year he played. He played right. He missed one game. Indy would play in the other
when his child was born. Remember?
But he did play in the other Indy game, so it will not be his first return back to Indianapolis since the trade. But it is a Corey Joseph revenge game.
Corey Joseph always does play well against the Raptors, which is fun and exciting.
He did, and you know who also played well against the Raptors back in the day? Lance Stevenson.
I was gonna say, you better say Lance.
Yeah, fortunately, you did not have Lance. Lance was the Raptor killer.
He saved him last year when DeRozan got all pissed off. I remember that now.
Yeah, DeRozan got pissed off in that Thanksgiving game and like because he ran him over.
I didn't actually forget about that, but I needed to be reminded of that. That was fun.
So on the Pacers side, I guess what is the biggest advantage?
Their biggest advantage,
their X factor, as we would call it. I guess.
They're gonna have to win a lot in the post. We talked him up, but like Ibaka's tiny for a center. Valanciunas is out. Greg Monroe is really limited in terms of how far away he can be effective from the rim. And Chris Boucher is a two-way player, so you have to pick on those guys all you can. Try to pull Greg Monroe away from the basket. Make Serge Ibaka move around a lot. Don't let him get his trademarked elbow / slot jumpers. And I think you can get a big advantage there, but they're so good on D at every other position. It's hard to find a really easy advantage.
So Turner's stats against the Raptors, he missed one game with that shoulder thing.
Yep.
And that was actually a big part of why the defense might have not been great. But in the other Raptors game, he was only able to play 25 minutes because he had 5 fouls. However, he did have 10 and 14. So he was a huge factor on the boards, and like you said, he kind of, if he can not get in foul trouble, he could be kind of the difference in them winning, especially at home where I don't know the stats, but I'm sure he played better at home.
Right. They just can't win in Toronto.
Which is bad because they might have to go there. I mean, they got to
keep him off the 3-point line. The Raptors shot really well from 3 in the fourth quarter of that game. They came back and won, as well as the whole game of the time that they won in Toronto. They're only 24th in 3-point percentage, so the fact that they just lit them up is very telling. And they get to the rim pretty well. They're second in 2-point percentage, so you got to be on your A game on defense to beat the Raptors.
So, am I weird to think the Pacers are gonna like win this game by 15? Like, it's just gonna be one of those like really good Pacers.
They beat Toronto at home last year. I think they can do it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a back-to-back, and they're gonna come out with a lot of energy because Oladipo's been challenging them to beat good teams, and they're gonna come out really, I guess, energetic might be the right word, or really well executed might be the right word. And the Raptors, who are on this back-to-back, will be sort of not ready for it, I guess might be the right way to put it.
They're traveling in between games too, I believe.
Yes, they are. They're traveling from. I had it up for a second.
Sacramento. Holy crap, that's far. Oh no, they're home from Toronto.
Home, Sacramento. That's not. Yeah, so they're not.
I saw Sacramento. I was like, that's mean. Why did they even make them do that?
That would be the worst. That's just so mean by the NBA. They made them do that.
That's crazy.
But it does mean though it's not a short plane ride from Toronto to Indy. It's a little bit. It's still probably a 2-3 hour flight, right?
Right.
Probably 2.5 somewhere in between. But yeah, I just feel like this is the kind of game where the Pacers are at home. They've been challenged because they've lost to a lot of good teams that they're just gonna like really bring it. But I also thought that against the Philly game at home too, so I could be wrong.
I hope they do. They need to get up and beat one of these good East teams, both for their confidence and so they prove they can do it.
Yeah, like I said, I think Jimmy Butler was so good in that game.
He was very good.
So good. I guess, and if Kawhi doesn't play in the Raptors game either too, which I'm feeling he won't play because I don't think they play him back to back. They just don't want to. So this should be an opportunity to win this game if everybody plays.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll have a chance, but the Raptors are stupid good. So who knows?
All right. Well, let's move on to the second game of the week then. But first, let's take a quick break.
Oh my God! You're only on the first game of the week.
Do we ever do a break? 2 breaks?
We can easily insert another break. Do it before the trades.
Right? Didn't we do 2 breaks already?
No. I don't think so.
Didn't we do one before the
I
trade?
can't remember. We had so many technical difficulties.
No, we did. We did one before the trade and after the trade.
Okay.
So we don't need a break here. I'm sorry. All right. So now I'll restart. Sorry, I'll edit again. I have to look at the edit. It's fine.
Just stop for 2 seconds.
All right. All right. No. Okay. All right. I got to fix it. All right. Now let's move on to the next game of the week, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies, who we spent a long time talking about Mike Conley. So I think we should start this game off. So Marc Gasol did not play on Saturday against – I forget who they played, but he did not play because of back injuries day-to-day, so he might not play, but obviously I think he's the number 2 player on this team. We should talk about him if kind of right now because we spent so much time on Mike Conley.
Yeah, the Grizzlies traded for Justin Holiday since these teams last played. Last time the Grizzlies played the Pacers still had Ben Moore and CJ Wilcox, so that was a blast from the past this season. They smoked him on opening night, if you'll remember. But yes, it is definitely worth monitoring Marc Gasol's injury status because if he does not play, this game is easy. Kyle Anderson will not play. He's really good. Dylan Brooks will not play. He's okay. Joakim Noah just missed time for personal reasons. So yeah, this game could be a cakewalk.
Yes, it could. I meant to do the numbers, Tony. What are the numbers on the Grizzlies?
Yes. The 30th in pace. So this game's going to be 90-something to 90-something. 28th offense and 9th in defense. It's actually pretty good on D, the Memphis Grizzlies.
I will tell you, I'm going to this game because I live next to Memphis.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That about an hour from Memphis. I have to still get my tickets, but I'm going to this game. So that will be, I don't know what that will be, but hopefully they win this game. The Grizzlies are in a tailspin, right? They have lost. I'm trying to look at their schedule now. I believe when I looked at my preview podcast, they were 5-12 the last 17.
Yeah, they are crumbling.
So that was the Mavs were 5-12, but they've lost
a lot.
They've lost 11 of their last 12 games.
Holy moly, really?
And actually, if you do the math some more, they've lost 16 of their last 19 games. So since December 14th, they've won 3 games. They've won 3.
Happened? I don't feel like they've been banged up. Are they just bad?
I think they kind of surprised people start the year, and then they kind of came back to earth because they're not a great team when you look on the paper, right?
That is a shocking news.
I mean, outside of Conley and Gasol, they got a young guy, Jaren Jackson, who's sort of, I don't know, figuring it out, but they don't have that many good players outside those two. And those two in a lower Western Conference are hard. Are not good
one's a rookie who's not actually good. But
and Conley and Gasol are not good enough to carry the team.
No, they are. They just have nothing.
Not in a loaded Western Conference.
They have no shot creation.
In the East, Conley and Gasol would be the 6th seed. In the West,
in the East, they'd be a 4th seed.
Maybe
not this Grizzlies team specifically.
No, but I'm saying this Grizzlies team in the East would be in the playoffs easily, but in the West, it's hard. It's loaded.
Yeah, things just keep not going their way. In general,
which could be the fortune to the Pacers, who could maybe take advantage of that and trade for one of them. But that's just another because we already had.
That is true. Yeah, outside of Conley and Gasol, like no one's threatening. Like Parsons isn't even playing anymore. Garrett Temple is a really good role player, but he can't do anything for himself. Justin Holiday is super inefficient, and then everyone else on their team is just like a guy. Jaren Jackson's a rookie, so you shut down one or both of those guys, you just win. They smoked them the first time they played for that exact reason. I think it was like 111 to 83 or 110.
I think it was 101 83.
Yeah, they just knocked the doors off of them. Conley and Gasol combined for 24 points. Like the Grizzlies just had nothing going. So I don't think that this game will be any trouble.
Yeah, it was one of those games where was it just like Oladipo? Oh, it was 111-83. You're right. I'm wrong.
Let's go.
Nice job. It was one of those games where like Oladipo had like 16 points, but everybody else was so good that it didn't matter. I think they had 7 guys in double figures in that game.
57% from the field that game.
Yeah, that was what Darren Collison had 0 points. Collison had such a bad start to the season.
He ruined it. Everybody else scored pretty well this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the first Holiday minutes of his career. That game made a bucket. He
banked in the 3. That's right.
That's right.
With the jitters. Oh, that's a blast from the past. That's
fun. But yeah, this was I mean, I guess this game will be different than the first one, but I feel like the year started with the Grizzlies had certain expectations, and that's how they played to start the year. Then they played way above for the next like 20 games. Now they're back where we thought they were going to be, right? Just time for the Pacers to play them again. So I feel like this should be it won't be a 28-point win because it's not a home game, but it should be a 10-point win on the road.
I think so too. I don't think the team is very good.
Yeah, and the Pacers, like I said, handle their business against the bad teams at least.
Yes, and they are now a bad team. Congratulations to the Grizzlies for clear cut reaching the bad team status after being a good team for so
Well, they're
long.
19 and 27, which is like in the West is like in no way making the playoffs.
No chance. They're done. It's
Yeah,
a
I mean
shame.
they
I
need to go
love the
to
Grizzlies. I want them to be good so bad.
Yeah, it'll be sad once they finally break up the Gasol Conley. It's kind of like an era.
I know.
ending.
I'm going to be really upset.
But like, I mean, they should have broke up the team a couple of years ago. Even now, I mean, they've just been
Yeah.
kind of went 22 and 60 last year. But they I believe they owe their pick if it's top
Top
8
eight
protected
to the Celtics.
So if they're gonna be 14, they might as well go all in for the tanks. They can get I don't know
Pick.
Zion.
No, they
get
might as
Zion.
well. I think that they want to do is just like, let's get this over with. Let's get this thing to convey.
That's what Zach Lowe said on his podcast, right? Or one of the podcasts he was on.
Yes, and I agreed with that. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to share that sentiment.
Yeah. No, I mean I agree. But if you're gonna be 14th in the West, you might as well just go all in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be one of the bottom 7 teams, right? There's 5 bad teams in the East, and there's 1 really bad team in the West. And then if there's 14, that's the 7th.
Yep.
So you might as well try to get worse and get because now, right, the odds change this year too, right? So the odds are a little more even if you're in the 6, 7, you have a better shot, right?
Yep.
So maybe that would change their mindset. Like, oh, let's get to the 5 slot where we have like maybe a 10 or maybe an 8% instead of 5 like it used to be. And we can go get Zion Williamson, which is the prize to all this.
That's the reason you tank this year.
Yeah. Is there anybody else in college?
Huh?
Is there anybody else in college worth thinking for?
There are other okay Duke dudes, but none of them are.
Yeah.
No one is worth quite as much as
Yeah, your boy OG really stunk it up. Not OG, Romeo Langford really stunk it up. And
Yeah, Purdue smoked at you. I did not even know that game was happening. Can you believe that?
I was watching it and Romeo just kept missing everything.
Really?
He airballed a corner 3 in the second half, and I was just like,
Yikes.
not a good day for him. We both agree Pacers probably win both games this week.
No, I think they go 1-1. I don't know which one they'll lose or win, but
Okay, well, you're just saying that was Raptors game. That's what that means. The Raptors, right?
maybe.
Well, they're gonna need some wins because they got some tougher games, which we'll obviously
do.
preview next week. I believe they play the Warriors on Monday, so we might.
They got Warriors. They got the always interesting Wizards that week. I can't remember. They have 4 games that week. So
Well, so they beat the Warriors twice last year, so maybe that will happen. They play the Magic then on the 31st, so maybe they have a shot at winning more next week. We'll probably do a podcast, I guess, after the Warriors game on that Monday. Maybe before it. I don't know. We'll figure this out. But yeah, listen to that one. Check out Tony's Monday podcast with a special guest. I guess by this point you know who it is.
it's out. It's Trevor Booker. Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't been saying the name yet, but you're right. It'll be out by this point. If podcast post with Trevor Booker. Check that one out. Former Pacer player. Yeah, of course on the Sundays I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm excited to listen to that one. And yeah, we'll be back this week with probably podcast. Thursday or Wednesday for your podcast, and then I'll have one Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
That sounds like a plan because there's not a lot of games this week, but we'll have some content. Anything else you want to promote, Tony? Any stories you're writing, anything like that?
No, I'm good.
All right, I think we've been going for probably over an hour. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's a long podcast. As always, you can follow our podcast at Locked On Pacers, be it FreeMadam5. And remember, send all your free agency / trade questions to at TEastNBA. It's Tony's Twitter account. He will love to get those. That's all for his Locked On Pacers podcast. As always, have a great rest of your day.